My name's Jacob Beaton. My tribal name is Jaffa-Skatwan-Skeek. I'm Lach-Skeek Eagle Clan, Tsimshan from the coast, a Wilp-Nisawap, a Gisplach-Loots tribe, and currently living here in Gitzan territory. Everything we do at Tea Creek is tied into Indigenous food sovereignty. The way I like to explain Indigenous food sovereignty is that it's our past as Indigenous people is our future again, because our ancestors were food sovereign plus. They had a surplus of food, and it's one of the things that was noted by settlers when they first came to this part of the world is how wealthy Indigenous people were in food. So the potato is important to food sovereignty because it is one of the cheapest sources of food globally. Tsimshan all down the coast were potato farmers pre-colonization. We currently grow roughly 20 varieties of potatoes. Every year we bring in some new varieties and we test them out. The reason we grow this many varieties is for climate resiliency, because all potatoes are not equal. They all have different properties and things they're good at and not good at. And so we just want to ensure that we understand what the best potatoes are for our region and maybe other regions. And then we have a diversity so that if it gets very cold, very wet, very hot, very dry, then at least we have some varieties are going to do well and we're always going to eat. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 pounds of potatoes, which is not very much. The drought that we're in right now is stressing out our plants because we're not able to get enough water onto them. And we actually ran out of water already this year. I met Tiffany during the pandemic online because there's so few of us Indigenous food producers. She is a matriarch in the Indigenous food sovereignty world. And she reached out to me for the potato project specifically and asked if I'd participate by growing out these ancient varieties and keeping some notes on them.
Tiffany Traverse, Sequetmuka, Slaka ta Sequetmakulu ta Tutua, Simp, Mutka Treaty 8 territory. My name is Tiffany Traverse. I'm a Sequetmuk Sema Indigenous seed and land steward, as well as an independent Indigenous researcher. In my worldview, a seed steward is someone who caretakes for seeds. They come here, I grow them out, get them good and strong, and actually return them or rematriate them to different communities and different nations. So I'm more like a seed auntie. The main goal of the potato project is to grow out some culturally significant potatoes for Indigenous communities within so-called BC, and then to eventually rematriate or return those potatoes and teachings to their respective communities. And the types of potatoes we're growing are Ozette and Haida, which we're pretty sure are genetically very, very similar, if not the same, as well as the likely potatoes, which are from my area. And I had been speaking with a few people from the potato gene bank as well as the seed gene bank. And I started seeing some of their collections and noticing that there were Indigenous potatoes included in their collection. And so I started doing this little bit of research in the background and just finding out who's been growing these potatoes, how long they've been growing them for, and then just wanting to get other Indigenous people that have connection to these different potatoes to work together.
She arranged potatoes to come to us through the Canadian Gene Seed Bank. And so we got this very small amount of potatoes, like literally a handful of the 3 different varieties. Planted them out last year and they produced incredibly well. Out of the 20 varieties that we grow, our Indigenous varieties are by far the most resilient, even with the climate crisis. It tastes amazing, I should tell you that. And it's important, I believe, for the future because it is drought hardy, like it survives drought and produces even in drought, and it's frost hardy, and that's the future we're looking at. To me, the Ozette Haida potato is a symbol of resilience. It is a symbol of innovation, and it's something that we'd like to see come back because our future needs that knowledge and innovation to come back for us and our next generations.